Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are, so we tell them, we are Camp Lisa!
Hi, I'm Robin Hoffman. I'm a public artist here in Charlottesville, and some people might ask, what's a public artist? Well, unfortunately, but fortunately, I work in the general public, usually to volunteer. And as I moved along in my life, I've always volunteered as not only a healthcare worker, but as a registered nurse, and then also as a public artist. So what is a public artist? Well, somebody can engage with somebody and help them with their, innovation, nonprofit that brings community together, and sometimes like food bombs or sharing is caring or open source recycling actually teaches people how to use computers, how to source their food, how to cook, maybe nutrition-wise. Or it could be like the Botanical Gardens, which was, it started in 2019 here. Somebody's, a landscape architect, Jill Trishman, she's just decided that she's going to manage the creation of a community space. And there they have all kinds of volunteers, but also people who are paid to do instruction within the community's needs. And so you have dancing, you have it's just amazing what's going on there right now. And this is out of McIntyre Park. But I'm here today back. I was supposed to retire. I'm old, and I said, okay, I'm retired, right? So my Social Security, my Medicare, all that stuff, I'm depending on to be able to do this volunteerism. Well, it turns out, guess what? I read in the newspaper, Washington Post, that, and I'm gonna just read it real quickly because I don't really understand it, but this just happened this weekend. So what happened is the Democrats, of course, were questioning the Trump administration and Mr. Besant, who was just confirmed by the Senate last week, were compromising the federal government's payment system. Anyway, to put it bluntly, these payment systems simply cannot fail, and any political motivated meddling in them risks severe damage to our country and the economy, says Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon. Well, anyway, when I read that, I was like, oh my God, what is going on? Well, all my life, I've kind of done some kind of artwork for myself. What does that mean? Well, I ride an electric bike, so I made an illustration using photography of how I look on the Rivanna River. Yes. And so I love this because it's really me. And I'm on the trail. And I created, because of that trail, a comic strip. I have so many stories that happened over the years, since 2013, where I moved along the Rivanna River, that I decided to make a journal using a comic strip. And this is I think this is only 2 years worth. So almost every day, I kind of vent. It's therapeutic. So I have my template, which you see in the introduction, and that I frame. So I have like copies of this, just without any illustration to begin with, really to put it on my beginning of my day. And then what I do is I exercise. And I have my nutrition, I have my exercise, my oxygen's in my brain or whatever. And then I watch the news. So I want to stay informed, even though I want to retire. But then when I found out that my retirement funds were going to be deleted, and my Medicare for my health, medications, doctor visits and all that, I was like very nervous. Now I'm like, how did that happen? Well, because I'm always a creator. First of all, let me put on my thinking cap. Okay, so this is how I look as a bike rider, which I'd consider my Rivanna rider outfit. Okay, so this is a helmet for safety, and this is a visor for basically, the glare in my glasses. Okay, so I come up with these ideas. Like on my previous TV show, which I did also for the community to benefit the free clinic and all that, I did invite guests to try to have explanations as to what they have aspired to. Like, how did they create their nonprofit, that sort of thing. Anyway, so that's pretty much my process. That's what I'm here to tell you. This is my first show doing Rivanna Rider, traveling through the landscapes of time. Now, I'm home. I'm looking at this Medicare, Medicaid, Meals on Wheels. I could be infirm in my house. And Meals on Wheels won't be able to give me a meal, especially because I'm poor. Okay, but anyway, so this is the game board. Now, the game board which I came up with therapeutically, basically what it does is it says, what happened this weekend? U.S. federal government takeover, right? So it's, to me, in order to figure out what's the premise of that, what's the plan? Why are they doing that? My friends and long-term friends who voted for Trump say that he's going to get rid of waste. So then I said, really? How is that going to work? Okay, so the game board, and by the way, I decided, to kind of mimic Monopoly. You remember Monopoly? My sister Gail gave me this game, and I never used it because it's so nice. It's wooden. Okay, but anyway, so I thought, okay, that's how I'm going to make my game. So the rules with Monopoly, why did they call it Monopoly? I mean, I'm sure Mr. Trump, played that game, right? Because that's real estate. Remember that? You win if you get all the hotels and all that. You think that's what he played? Okay, but anyway, so then I thought, I need to have the game board, right? I need to have my, go to jail cards. I need to have my chance cards. And in these chance cards, it's really called Stay Solvent, Affordable Quality of Life for All. Give us a chance. The go to jail card says, you do not pay for your police, roads, bridges, military, and live free consequences, like people who want to be able to help the community, and you take their power away from that, like you just delete their funds. So you go to jail. Okay. And then I came up with this thing where a consumer consumption empowerment spot, right? So you go around the thing, and then there's this, just like Monopoly, the stops. If you stop on the consumer one, it says, who depends on the imports? Then each thing you have to identify the list of foods, pharmaceuticals, minerals for our phones, that sort of thing. That's what these cards are. Okay. Then I remembered you need pieces, right? So everybody has to choose. So I looked around my house, and fortunately, unfortunately, over the years, I went to McDonald's as a nurse because I had to get something quick to eat because they don't give you a break for lunch. So I'd have to think of a quick place, and of course it was McDonald's. So I, over the years, collected these plastics, and I can't throw them out because they're plastic and they don't go in the landfill. But I said, wow, these are good pieces, for going around the board. Then I thought my guests could choose which one they identify with, right? Just like the Monopoly game. You pick a player piece because you really feel somewhat at home with it. I don't know. But anyway, who is this? Where's Waldo piece? Then probably my niece Bianca, she would like this piece. This is a Buddha piece. This didn't come McDonald's, it's actually a real sculpture. Okay, and this guy, I don't even know who he is. Let me see. I don't know who any of them is, really. So I'm gonna hopefully get an elementary school teacher to tell me what is popular culture now that they made these in plastic that doesn't get dissolved in a landfill. Who is this person? I had no idea, but I thought they were colorful. This, of course, is me, or I feel like is my other alter persona, is that it is Robin, Batman's, assistant. And then who is this? Our popular culture. We need to watch, the Super Bowl. And then who is this? I don't know. Some kind of mobile, again, something to do with cartoons or whatever. And, it just goes on. All kinds of different things. And of course, I got this from an old game. This is the conservative, religious right people. So people might identify with that. Okay, so then you have to have your dice, which I just lost. I don't know, one of my creatures must have just ate it. But anyway, so you have your dice. You throw your dice, and then you go around. Okay, so that's the game that I've created. I'm hoping that my guests will play it on the Rivanna rider, traveling through the landscapes of time. Okay, and so what I did want to point out are some of the stops that the players are going to go on. So I'm going to read it out loud. Let me see if I could do that. Okay, so this is the media. USA media landing. Like how, what does it say? Who controls the media now? Free Speech TV, which is of course where I am today, is the Charlottesville Community Media Center, home of Charlottesville Public Access TV.org. And this you can get on your new smart TVs, even on your phone. And thank goodness, because of our director here, David Dillahunt, he is enabling us to be able to, and I think it's therapeutic, speak freely about what your concerns are. And hopefully that the public too will join in. Will come here and, develop ideas. You could be bipartisan. Start a bipartisan party. Get a bunch of people to come in and just have discussions about what their concerns are. Okay, what's the next step? Aviation USA. Who owns that? Okay, wait a minute. What's the next box? Whoa, what does this say? Accessible, secure identity of all the United States people. Who is doing that? And then, I guess if you land on it, you're doing it, right? And you got to put like your, I guess, property. Like if you're Elon Musk, for instance, and you own all this, you get to put your like spaceship on there, or your real estate in Europe and Russia, and like your mining places that you're gonna do, or if you're gonna create cyber money instead of dollars, like place, I guess that's where you would land, right? To get the control. Okay, but anyway, so the IRS sends information cards, and then also you get your import tax card, and then also, what is this? Winner takes all is the like the winning. Winner takes all ends USA monetary system, value assets to CEO Elon Musk. I guess that's the premise of the whole game. Like Monopoly is to get as much real estate, and then you win, but this is the premise. You winner takes all, everything that the United States has to offer. So here I am in Greenland as my backdrop. As a matter of fact, when I was at Charlottesville Public Access TV from 2009 until it became Charlottesville Community Media Center in 2019, I had never had a green screen really. But now that I have a green screen, thanks to David Dillahunt's understanding of technology, which is huge, I can be anywhere. And so this was a previous backdrop that we used actually to say we were Iceland, but we couldn't find a backdrop. And that was the first actual video that we did with a guest with a green screen. And that was Sun Tribe engineer, Sean Farber. And it is on YouTube if you want to watch it. But, and it's just Robin Hoffman, and you'll see a hat. And that's 14 years. Every 2 weeks I did another one. So it's like Each season is 9, because David Dillon, of course, edits all everything, and he does everything, and he puts it all together, and we are so lucky. But also, we need to have free speech so we can create, connect, collaborate, and also for some people, we can actually tell what we see, how we see things, like for real, on an everyday basis. So, for instance, some people want to know, why do I do this when I'm supposed to be retired? Well, yeah, now I don't have any income at all because Social Security and Medicare is gone. I do have to make money to be able to pay for things, for my electric, for my this and that, although I did get solar, preempted that. And I did get a Prius so that I don't have to pay too much for oil and not pollute, the air. And I did get an electric bike, which I power with my solar. And also, I'm buying innovative things from industries here, which is like, for instance, this straw. It is biodegradable. Remember how the turtles had them in their noses in the water? Like they showed that and everybody went, no more straws. Well, now you can put them in your compost. And then what else? And this bag. So this is innovative. This bag says, thank you, have a nice day. And then it says, how's it go? Please reuse or recycle this bag at participating store. So we're moving along to save the climate for our generations to come, and that's why I'm back. Because I feel like my nieces and nephews and my grandnieces and nephews and my cousins who are having children and all that, they really need to know that Americans are creating things. We are doing innovative things. There are factories here that people are working at. I know it doesn't always translate up into, the Congress and the Senate because they're so busy. I mean, we have very good, very excellent, thank goodness, thank everybody for voting. We have Amy Laufer and Katrina Carlson, who came this past Sunday to the library and presented Saturday, what their bills are being rendered and how difficult it is. They're working 24/7, they're getting paid bupkis. But hopefully they are very smart. We're so lucky. And there are other representatives too who are very smart. They know how to connect the dots, like how people need to eat, how food safety is so important that we need to support the FDA, the CDC, so we don't get Ebola or monkeypox, which is coming down the pike, and also support the CDC, the FDA, and the teachers associations and things like that. This is real. This is reality. If you don't have the infrastructure, then you must create different associations, organizations, certainly agency, to take the role to make sure the planes don't crash. Where do the garbage go? How do we do things? The infrastructure, it all takes people, and there's 300 million people in this country that need to have services, of all those things. Childcare, so everything from soup to nuts. It isn't given to us. We have to earn it by working. So we need jobs. Anyway, I want to say all that because this is a really just a fun place to be. Because it's so wonderful to be able to have free speech. So I wish you well, I wish you luck, and please make your own show. Thank you.
Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are, so we tell them. We are Camp Lisa, mighty Camp Lisa.